Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Nyan Archives. I'm KaiyaBell,
I'm Catershime.
and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Rosette Bloodthorn VT. Hi, Rose.
Hi!
Welcome, and thank you for being our first person we've interviewed. It was so nice of you to accept that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy to be here. It made me really happy to hear that you wanted to invite me.
Do you mind if I do a little introduction for you?
Oh,
Just
no,
so
not at
people.
all.
Okay. Uh, Rosette here is a vampire VTuber. How long have you been streaming for again now?
I would say almost a year and a half, over a year. It's a year and 5 months, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, so you've been streaming for a while.
Mhm.
And you're mostly a variety streamer, I believe. Is that correct? I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure. Yeah. So if you guys want to check out Rosette, Rosette Bloodthorn VT, you can check her out on Twitch. Yeah, yeah. We'll have her links in the description as well.
Mhm.
So yeah. So how are you doing today, Rose?
I'm doing pretty all right. I'm really happy to be here. It's really lovely talking to you both. You're both really sweet. It's definitely like, if I didn't have anything to say about my day before, I definitely have a lot of good things to say about it now. No, you guys are really sweet.
Oh my god, that's so nice. It's like there's me. I'm quite self-deprecating about my work sometimes. So to hear someone like, "Oh, you guys are so sweet," I'm like, "Oh my god, like that's so nice." I don't feel that.
I went through a how do you accept compliments again?
We're like, how do you
No,
how
it's
do you
a
do this?
condition of being a streamer. You can always be doing better.
It's so true. That's so true. Oh man. So
Um,
we actually compiled a couple questions for you. Um and wanted to get to know you more, and this was kind of like a little moment for us to just chat because you mentioned you're an introvert, and as a fellow introvert,
just say welcome to the club.
you have to put yourself out there. You gotta do stuff to like put yourself out there. So here's me being like, okay, I have to be the extrovert introvert today. Please come talk to me. Let's be friends. Let's talk for a bit. So So we'll have some questions. Wanted to start off with, how did you get started into VTubing and streaming? What got you into it?
Oh, well, I was talking about this a bit actually while we were getting set up, but I used to be really into theater. I
Right.
spent a lot of time doing stuff like, yeah, especially when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of theater and it took up a lot of time. There would be a lot of times where it was like I was barely sleeping. And I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed like the community interaction where I was speaking to a lot of people. I was getting to do a lot of things creatively, but I had a really tough time with auditions. I hated auditions. I feel like it's not really exemplary of the skill that you put in because a lot of it is kind of like the chemistry that you have with people over time, getting to know people and stuff like that. So generally, it's like you're getting passed up for people they already know that they can work well with, or you're getting a really small part and then you're spending 3 or 4 months kind of just saying a couple lines and then leaving, or maybe you're not doing stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe there's no such thing as a small part in theater. That's something I've heard people say so many times. Even if you have just a couple of lines, it's still important because shows are written very deliberately. But it's just something that I personally was like, I don't want to do a bunch of auditions that make me nervous to do something that I'm not crazy about or not get any roles for like a 3 month period at all. So I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe I should try to figure out something that's more creatively fulfilling. And I always thought streaming, I always thought VTubing was really cool. I thought it was cool that there was a lot of interaction with people where you could hang out. And especially as an indie, you don't really have to send in a lot of audition tapes to companies. You're not really as beholden to other people. I think it's really nice getting to make a lot of creative decisions yourself and to be able to do things streaming that a lot of other people can't necessarily do, especially VTubing, where you get to kind of pseudo play a character to your comfort level. I think it's really nice.
it's kind of like putting yourself out there. Oh, yourself. Like you don't have to go to an audition on someone else's terms. It's you. You're putting a character you've created out there.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really awesome. It's really creatively fulfilling getting to... I'm trying to find the right words for it. It's really nice getting to play a character. Not that I really play a character. I feel like I'm very casual on stream usually. I don't really go to much of an effort to do that. But it's really nice getting to flip-flop between playing a character and kind of just being comfortable as yourself. You know, it's like you really get to determine your own comfort level, and I think that's a really valuable thing in streaming. I don't think there are many places where it's really appropriate to say, this is what I'm comfortable with, and this is what I want to do. And I'm going to put that first.
Okay. Yeah. I think that totally makes sense, and so glad to have you as part of the VTuber community, Rose, just saying.
Yes.
You're such
Thank
a
you.
delight.
Lovely to have you too. You're such a delight. Are you kidding me?
No, you.
No, you. We're gonna fight right now.
No, we
Like
can both be
positivity.
delights.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll have Kat do the next question, because actually these first couple questions were from Kat, so I feel like I've taken over. If you want to do the next question, Kat, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. What do you feel is your favorite part of streaming in general?
Well, I would say my favorite part of streaming in general is, I mentioned this before, I really, really love being able to talk to people. I think it's really nice getting to have that direct interaction. It's something that really only streaming can facilitate. I feel like it's a tough thing to balance at times, but I think that when you really strike that balance well, it's really nice getting to talk to people and have a really nice conversation with people. I find that a lot of the time it becomes the highlight of my day when I do that well.
Oof, it's the talking. I go into it knowing I have to, but I have to hype myself up before stream. It's like, I can do this. I am capable, and then right before I hit live, I go, maybe I'm not.
Oh my god, the streamer doubt right before you start stream. It's such a real thing. I have this thing, I hesitate. I will sit here and be like, oh my god, no one's gonna show up. Today's the day. This is the day. No one's gonna show up. I'm gonna hit live, and everyone's suddenly realized.
Everyone realized last stream that I'm super boring and I suck. It's no one wants to show up or even look at me because they've all finally realized that I'm a shriveling old coward beneath my cute VTuber facade.
It's so
balding.
Balding. Oh my god.
Balding. Oh,
We'll never know.
Okay, I do actually have a full head of hair. Only on the inside am I a shriveling old balding creature nobody wants to see.
Oh gosh.
I find that the same though. My favorite part for streaming is interacting with people. I find the amount I've been able to learn from communicating with people, because I get a lot of the EU gang, we call them. They call themselves rather EU gang. They teach me so much about also different perspectives, because I'm so used to being North American, being Canadian. I'm used to the Canadian perspective with a lot of American influence, but I didn't have too much connection with Europe and other places, so they've opened my eyes, and I've had so much fun laughing with them about so many stuff. It's delightful. Streaming is delightful.
Yeah, I think for sure the
absolutely.
community makes it what it is.
Oh my god, yeah, the community definitely sways the streamer sometimes, for me at least. I'm guilty of that.
No, I feel like especially one of the things that really makes streaming is talking to people. It's kind of a unique thing to streaming. In most other places, if you start talking, if you get up on stage in theater and start talking to the performers, it's like, what are you doing up here? And you have to leave. It's very much a unique feature of streaming that people get to talk to the streamer. And I feel like it is kind of the defining feature. For the longest time, I had a really hard time doing collabs, because I found that I wanted to talk to my chat so much, just because of the fact that I feel like the thing that makes streaming for me, for the thing that makes my content, is really like being able to talk and interact with people. I feel like even on a larger scale, for streamers with a much larger audience, it's still true that they have a lot of interaction with their audience, just because like even the general flow of conversation with so many people in chat, even when it moves so fast, you can see that there is a flow of conversation, there is a way that things are going that is determined just as much by chat as by the streamer. And a lot of people do still hold the power to change that conversation. So it feels like a very community-driven activity, and really like something that can't be done alone. It's one of those things where I do feel like the smaller you are, the harder it is, especially like with really small streamers. I know it can be really hard, and I have a lot of sympathy for people who like are really trying their best and can't find that audience, because the more you find that audience, the easier it is to be around an audience, I feel like, as a streamer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely if you don't have enough people to interact with, it's really hard to start conversations, you know? Like you have to be the vessel for it. But my mentality when I started streaming for that was like, okay, all right, Kaiya, what are you? You are a host. You are a host of a party, and you need to be able to create conversations between people by bringing up topics.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That was the only way for me to like continue like conversations, which now like all I do is freaking talk. Like I just you know, like, and I'm not like this. I've mentioned this before. I actually am a very quiet person outside of streaming. I'm very reserved and quiet. I don't talk too much. But streaming has made me very, very vocal. So I totally
I
agree.
really feel the same way. It feels like it's hard to start that conversation, but I think that I see a lot of like, oh, why does nobody talk to me? But really the thing is, when you're streaming, I feel like you really have to do that yourself.
Yeah.
You have to find and start the conversation, because it's like you can't blame other people. You have to start, you have to improve, you have to put yourself out there again and again, and like things will come of it. Like one thing that I would do when I had a lot more trouble speaking, that I still do, is I have a sticky note that I always put up, that I'm always working on like between streams, that are just like, if I think of anything to talk about that I know I'll forget about later, I'll just write a couple words down that'll remind me of it. And then I have like 10 things to talk about if it gets quiet and I know that I won't be able to hold a conversation, because I have a lot of lurkers and I don't want to put them in a position where it's like, oh, how dare you lurk? I'm gonna make you feel guilty for not talking to me. You suck for not talking.
So true. Yeah,
Oh,
that's such a
God.
great idea though, because like I have that too. I have like come up with like topics outside of stream, and then like obviously when stream comes up, I'm like, oh, you know, like if I have nothing to talk about, like what do I do? It's a very good tip. I think that's a fantastic idea.
I would
add another
recommend
sticky
everybody
note.
does it.
What was that, Kat?
So I'll just add another sticky note. We've talked about this. I don't know what it is. I can like sit down and figure out my entire schedule, and then mom brain just kicks in. So I have sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah.
I've got a sticky
You
note telling me
do.
how to move my model.
Yeah. Yeah, Kat's a sticky note aficionado.
No,
for
I
the
love
better.
sticky notes. I actually have two different sets that I use. I have one explicitly for writing notes, and I have one explicitly for planning out my day and writing out schedules, so I totally get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's so useful. Legitimately. I would recommend everybody do it.
I mean, I have
Sticky
sticky
notes.
notes here, I think. I could start using them.
You
Start
definitely
using them.
could.
They're
You
useful.
could. Just saying.
Don't get me back on this. I already got over my stationary addiction. We can't go back into it.
We're gonna
Can't go
pull you
back.
right back in. We're gonna reel you back.
I'm a lost cause. I'm probably gonna get
No.
reeled back in. No problem.
No, I definitely have a stationary addiction too. I bought a bunch of washi tape, and for a while I didn't even know what I was gonna do with it. But now a lot of my sticky notes aren't sticky notes; they're just pads. So I have to tape them up somewhere. So now I have a use for it.
True. Actually have a bunch of washi tape, and I haven't used it in like months. Oh.
I have some too that I haven't used. It's literally like on the side waiting to be used, and me being like, someday. It's been like, I think like 4 or 5 years now that hasn't happened. Someday hasn't happened yet. So
But it could still happen. Someday
could,
is
it
still
could.
someday.
now it will happen. No, now it will happen. Absolutely.
Now
I'm going
is
to
the day.
use it. Today's the day.
You got this.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So, how did you decide on the design of your model?
Oh, how did I decide on the design of my model?
Yeah.
Honestly, the main thing for me, I had such a hard time figuring out what I wanted for a really long time, just because it's really hard to come up with a design that you feel like you'll be attached to for a long time. I've definitely found it because my 2.0 model it's very much a redesign around a lot of the same stuff, but it's one of those things where it's really hard to be like, what is something I'm really gonna like for a long time? What's something that I feel like can represent me in a way that I enjoy, in a way that I want to present myself to people, that I think will be fun? I would say the main thing is I just considered the stuff that I liked. Just a lot of stuff that are like particular guilty pleasures for me, because I think one of the things about streaming as a VTuber specifically, you know, when you're like a child and you start making OCs and you start getting into that phase where you're like, oh my god, your character can't be too interesting. They're a Mary Sue, and you start calling everyone's OCs too cool and too interesting. It's like, I feel like if you're not there in like making a character that someone would criticize for that specific reason, I feel like you're not having enough fun with it. I feel like you have to be a little silly about it. I feel like you have to make a character that's just a little too goofy. Otherwise, it's just like, what's the point? Like, where's the fun in it? What's the point if you're not making something that's fully indulgent, you know?
Yeah. Something for you, right? Like
Mhm.
you're not abiding by anything else. It's because of what you like. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like for streaming, you have to be having fun first, because there are no stupid viewers out there. Everyone can tell if you're not having fun, if you're having a garbage day, if you're doing something that you straight up just don't enjoy, people can tell, you know? So it's like, you have to have fun first. You have to make something that will be fun for you before you start inviting other people into that space to have fun with you.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. They can tell. And also, it's unfair to yourself. Like, you know, I feel like sometimes people almost like pigeonhole themselves into like a certain type of creator, but they don't want that. They want to try other things. They want to do something else. And you don't have to do that. You can just be yourself. It's streaming. It's literally your space. You can choose to be and do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of the whole point too. You pick what you like, and hopefully other people will show up and enjoy the exact same things as you.
there's always someone out there.
Yes.
Like there's someone out there who likes the same stuff. You're not alone. So
Yeah.
yeah. How about your overlays and everything else too? Did you first do the overlays, or did you do your model first? Like how did you figure
The
out that
model
aesthetic?
was absolutely first. I feel like for streaming in general, I followed the same process when I was working on my 2.0 model, bringing it up again. I feel like you have to have your model first, because your model is kind of like the core centric thing that everything is coming around. It's like I got the design for that first, and then I started commissioning everything else, because I really feel like you're basing this stream around you, so you have to have a coherent aesthetic around you. Everything has to make sense off of you. It has to lead back to you. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's branding. That's absolutely it. It's
Yeah.
branding. Yep.
Also,
I
I would have that fear. Is like, okay, if I do the overlays first, what's the ideal point where the model doesn't clash?
Oh yeah.
Like, if you decide to change the color, where would have been the whole point?
No, it's a really tough thing to decide, especially like I'm not really much of an artist. It's something I want to do. I want to start I want to start drawing. I have a digital tablet that I haven't been using at all, but I want to make it a priority that I start drawing more because it's something I really enjoy. That's a whole tangent for another time though. But for me, making the overlays was really tough because I have absolutely no relevant experience in art or design. I just kind of had ideas for what I wanted to do. I feel like not necessarily all of it worked. I'm really happy with it overall, though. I feel like it's already carried me pretty far. Everything has served me very well. I'm really happy with how things have been. It makes me really happy that everything turned out the way it did. It was the work of a lot of people that culminated in the branding and like the community that I have created. I feel like it's kind of hard to put into words. Like, when you think about it, when you really start thinking about how much work is put into it, that's a lot, especially when you're trying to get consistent branding with like 10 different people who are all working on this stuff. So I think everybody did a really good job, and it turned out really well.
Oh yeah, I think they look fantastic personally. You
Thank
definitely
you.
have a style going. You definitely have a style, like your own branding going.
Much
Yep.
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yep.
I have to admit, I like the little bat you got on your shoulder.
Oh, thank you. This is just a PNG. This is just a
Oh,
little
is it?
PNG that I have of him here.
Aw, he's so cute. No. Just flying about.
Yes.
Does he have
Oh
a
my
name?
He does
Yes.
have a name. His name is Shiro. He's named after the main protagonist of Fate Stay Night. It's one of my favorite franchises.
We were gonna possibly talk about games that you like later, but
I have a feeling we know.
I feel like we're getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, easy segue right now.
Okay, favorite games. Name
yeah,
some. Go
games.
for it.
Let's-
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't play Fate Grand Order as much. Not really much of a gacha gamer overall, but it's a game I really enjoy. I think it actually has a really good story. I'm totally not trying to sell people on the game here, but I'm just saying a lot of the low rarity characters are surprisingly very good, and there are a lot of YouTube channels dedicated specifically to runs with low rarity characters in the game, and you can check them out really easily, and a lot of the community is really nice, so you can have a lot of people on your friends list so you can have help. But I think it has a really welcoming community. My 2.0 artist is primarily a Fate Go artist, and they've done a lot of models for other streamers in the community. And I was talking to them. I was like the second I saw their art, I was like, okay, I want a model. I know I wanted a model anyways. I want you to work on it just because their art is really nice. I think it turned out really well. But I like the community in Fate Go a lot. They're really fantastic. They're really sweet. I've rarely seen a community that is so ready and willing to just like be very welcoming of people, be very kind to people, and I think it's a lot of fun being in that space where it's like it's not just the game, it's the people you're talking to that are nice too. The story is really good. I actually like Fate overall has a really good story, so I like Fate. I've been playing Fate Samurai Remnant, which is another game that is based off of the Fate franchise, and it's really fantastic. It's got a vibe of like there's a lot of fantastical stuff happening in the Fate series, but a lot of the time when you're following the main characters, especially like in the original Fate Stay Night and Fate Samurai Remnant, there's a vibe of like you're just following someone in their daily life, and this is only one event in their life, and they kind of have no choice but to live like this is gonna come and go, and they're gonna keep living afterwards, so they kind of act accordingly, and I think that's really cool. I also I really like Portal.
Oh,
Portal's
great
another favorite game of
choice.
mine. Yeah. I really like the puzzles in Portal. I like puzzle games like that in general. I played A Hat in Time once. That was another really good one. But I love the humor in Portal. I feel like it's very tongue in cheek. Like same vein, I would say movies like Princess Bride are some of my favorite movies, just to get like an idea for my kind of humor. But I really love the humor in the Portal series, and I feel like it's really nice getting to play the game because at this point, I'm at a point where I can play the whole game in like 2 or 3 hours really easily. I think that the game is just like really fun to run through and play through. It's like a thing I do to calm myself at this point, which makes some people I know very upset. They have no idea how I do it so quickly, but it's really nice to play it. I think it's really nice.
Awesome
I'm-
choices.
I'm trying to think of like a list of just some others.
It's so hard
top of
though.
my
Thinking
head.
of like favorite games is really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm with you with Portal though for sure. I've never played Fate, so like I have, I don't actually know much about it.
Honestly, legitimately, it's primarily like visual novels and anime, but playing through Fate Samurai Remnant, I was like, man, they're rehashing so much stuff I know. But it's really made to be like a good entry point for this series, separate from the rest of it. If you want to check out Fate Samurai Remnant, I would 100% say you should check that one out independently and you don't have to see anything else first. It's really good.
Maybe put that on my list. I have such the game list, you know what I mean? It gets
Never
so
ending.
long. Yeah. Oh my god.
The amount of games I have that I've never even opened and people are like, you should check out this game. And then I end up checking out those games and then I have some poor games that are just like
Oh gosh. Those
drowning,
remind me-
gasping for air.
They're crying.
Those memes.
Why have
Have you
forgotten
seen
me?
the memes?
The memes?
Yes.
Yes, where they're like new game and all these other people drowning around them, and they're like,
And
"My
then
older
there's the one in the
game."
chair.
So
Oh,
true.
God.
It's harder as a streamer with that too, because you constantly get like suggestions for games and like you're curious about new stuff coming out. Like I have such a plethora of them compared to what I used to be like. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, like Helldivers. Helldivers, I've been playing that. That's a game that's really been like the game everybody's playing this week.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to balance like, okay, do I want to keep up with what everybody's playing right now? Or do I want to go do my own thing? Like, I was really late to the Lethal Company train. I didn't start playing it until like a month or two after it was already like at its height of popularity. But I've really enjoyed it. It's tough though, deciding like, do I even want to do this? Do I even want to hop on the trends? Is this even gonna help at all? Or do I just keep doing my own thing?
Oh god, yeah, hopping on trends is so difficult.
And then
Lethal's
there's so many
great, though.
people
I
too
love
playing
Lethal.
them.
Yeah, because it gets to be a lot. But
It
Helldivers
is.
too, Kat, you're playing that one too. I haven't played it yet, but I know Kat's
I
been
am playing Helldivers too.
it.
I needed to take a break. For some reason, when I run the game, it makes my PC feel like I'm trying to cook a meal on it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you can throw in some eggs,
I could throw
sausage
an
on there,
egg on there, and I'd be good.
toast it.
Breakfast with gaming, yummy.
Oh,
two in
I
one.
do enjoy the game though.
It's so fun.
There's something about just being able to shoot things.
I also like, only for a second because I feel like this can be like a hard topic to talk about. I really love that Helldivers 2 really kind of leaves you to your own devices and figuring out the lore because the
yeah.
music is very bright, it's very heroic. I've found myself like listening to it outside of the game just because it feels really good to listen to. A lot of the voice lines feel very positive, very gung-ho, but then you kind of read about the lore and it's like the bugs rapidly break down into fuel and you realize that like, oh wow, like the bugs are infesting so many planets, they're an invasive species because we were bringing them to other planets to breed them and kill them for fuel. And I think it's one of those things where it's like really interesting that the game leaves you to your own devices to see the corruption it very, very thinly beneath the surface. I feel like it's very good storytelling and a litmus test for media literacy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think a lot of people forget too, a bunch of the lore is in the first Helldivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of
So
the things that
if
I've
you go
heard
in
have been
without
from
it,
people who
just,
played
yeah.
Man, okay, this is kind of selling me on it more because I was told it's like Starship Troopers. I don't know if you guys have seen Starship Troopers. the
I
movie.
have.
So freaking old.
It's so old, I know, but like I'm a former science fiction movie nerd, so I loved it. I freaking love Starship Troopers, and then people were telling me Helldivers is like Starship Troopers, and then they started chanting Oh my god, what's everyone saying? For no.
For democracy.
Liberty, freedom, and democracy.
That's what I keep reading. I'm like, oh my god.
It's very tongue-in-cheek because it's like you are one of the poor brainwashed soldiers that's been indoctrinated into a warring culture. So a lot of people have been acting like that in voice chat. So sometimes when you're talking to people and you're not into the game, it's hard to be like, are they actually just... Are you really... What's the vibe here?
Is this legit or are we playing the game? Like, are we...
Yeah, are you for real?
What's funny is it's a bit of both. If you
It is a bit of both.
see some people play a game. Oh gosh, yeah, no. It's funny going into it and people like, "Oh yeah, democracy. I'm here to save the world." And you look at the lore from the first one, you're like, "But we're the bad guys. We enslaved them. That's why they're
It's a fun game. I'm never turning on voice chat. I'm never turning on voice chat.
Okay, it's that kind. Okay, yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there.
no, I'm
I've
picky
been
about
there.
who I play with. So
No,
we
yeah,
don't let
I
randoms
have
into
plenty
our
of people to
chat.
ask. Mhm.
Oh man.
Gosh.
So I'm gonna go back to about you and streaming.
Mhm.
So now after streaming for a year and a half almost, what are some goals you want to achieve for later on? Like, because obviously you're still streaming, so like any big
Yeah.
goals?
Honestly, the main thing, I've really enjoyed doing a lot of collabs. So I've been wanting to think about like, are there any events or like, is there anything I can plan for the people that I know? It's something that I was going to be doing a lot for a while. And then I ended up having to cancel everything because of the fact that I've got my 2.0 debut coming up. Anything like that is going to be a huge undertaking, especially because I'm like, I keep going, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to plan. Okay, one more. Okay, one more.
Pushing it aside. Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
one of the big things. I want to start doing covers. I don't have anything actively being planned right now. I want to start doing covers though. And aside from that, I've seen a lot of people do like get a 3D model, have 3D concerts, stuff like that. I think that sort of thing is really cool. I have a 3D model already. There's someone that I have in mind for like one of the first things I want to do. I want to get a 3D model. I want to look into doing stuff like that because I really think that doing stuff like that is really fun. It's something I want to do for myself. It's something I want to do for my community too. I feel like it can add new things to streams. Like you both use 3D models, and I think it's really awesome getting to like have more of a full range of movement. It's something that I want to have for my streams sometimes. Sometimes I feel like a lot of the time I feel like my models are like my 2D models are better suited to the content I'm doing a lot of the time. But I definitely want to branch out. I want to try more things. And some of the things I want to do would definitely require a 3D model. I think it's something I really want to go for. It's something I really want to do. I'm trying to think of other things. I mentioned this. I want to start drawing more. I want to start doing that. I think it would be really cool to potentially even document progress on that to some degree. I'm not sure what yet. I haven't really decided. I feel like I would want to get my bearings first. It's kind of like learning to walk. I want to walk before I can run, but
Yep.
I spent a lot of time especially like when I first started using Discord before I started streaming. I spent a lot of time in Discords hanging out with friends, and I'd pretty much always have someone streaming art in the background, so I ended up watching a lot of art streamers. So I like art streamers a lot, and I would really want to do that myself too.
Art streamers are my favorite to watch. I actually lurk on a lot of them. I don't know what it is, but like I feel
think it
way
might
more
be the cozy
productive.
vibes.
Yeah, it's like cozy,
It's
but then I
like
feel
it's,
like also productive. I don't know
Yeah,
what
they
it
got
is.
like really low-key music and not a whole lot of talking, and you just see the art happening. I don't know. I get more work done watching them, I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, they're so great. I know. I mean, I'm not an art streamer either because I do art, but I'm just not. I'm not confident enough to to put it up because the art that everyone likes from me is like my really scuffed paint art that like when one of my laptops was on fire, my mom's laptop was on fire practically, and I had to do artwork for a schedule at one point. And everyone loves that art. The other art I do, no one really says much. I mean, they like it, but they really just like my crap art the most.
Like the Furby. The Furby is great.
Yes, they love the Furby. It's like, why can't you like the nicer stuff I could possibly make?
I feel like one of the tough things about it too is like art as an extension of branding, because I feel like you're very much like a comfy chaotic streamer. So it's like if you haven't already been doing art a lot, because I feel like streaming art as a brand is very much a separate thing from most other streams. I've noticed a lot of the time there are a lot of streamers I watch where it's like the communities, the people who talk in chat change entirely when some of my favorite art streamers switch over to video games when I'm watching them do that. Like, I don't really, I feel bad for not saying anything sometimes because I know it can be kind of awkward, but it's like, I watch the chat completely switch over to an entirely new group, so it's very much like a different experience entirely. A lot of the people who are watching people play video games are not the same people watching people stream art.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Okay, I'm gonna end off with maybe one more question, if we're okay with that.
Yeah. Cool
What advice would you give to VTubers from your experience so far? So if someone's like starting out, what kind of advice do you have?
Two things. I feel like no one ever takes this seriously when they start streaming. And then like it makes sense, like a lot of the advice that they hear. Just basic like, try to get comfortable, put yourself first, get rid of chatters you don't like. If you don't have to have a specific reason to dislike someone. If you're getting weird vibes from somebody, everybody else is getting weird vibes from them too. I would say another thing too is it's really hard to do streaming by yourself. Get yourself out there, meet other streamers, meet people who aren't streamers too, who can help. I have a couple of friends who like are interested in streaming but don't stream themselves. It's something they want to do eventually, but they've already done so much to help me while streaming. I feel like it's very tough to do it by yourself. Like everyone has their mods. It's so much harder to do things if you don't have mods. Obviously, I mentioned this before, take notes. That sticky note has been like absolutely killer. Unbelievably helpful in times of need.
I will be taking that one. That's what I'm like, okay, that's a good idea.
And I feel like the last one, like big things, going into streaming expecting to make it is going to be really tough. And I feel like unless you have $1 million to invest in it and like the best personality, streaming is a muscle and it's something you have to build up. You're not going to find that community right away, especially because like a lot of the biggest streamers I've seen, like you look into it and you realize when they blew up, they weren't just streaming out of nowhere. A lot of the biggest streamers out there have already been streaming. They've already been creating content for years before that. They had years of streaming to like 5, 10, 20 viewers before they blew up and were streaming to hundreds or thousands. Yep. And that kind of ties into the last thing I wanted today to say. Streaming is iterative. You can start with free assets, a free model, and then get your first model. Find that your first model wasn't something you were quite interested in. Get a second model. You can keep doing things. You can change maybe like commands you do. You can go into a different sphere of streaming. If you're not happy with something, you can always change it, and it's going to be a push and pull all the time. You're going to have peaks and lows, but streaming is iterative. You can always change something if you don't like it. Even if it's tough to make that decision, you can just do that. It's okay. You can learn from your mistakes. We have to make mistakes to learn from them, you know?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Like you sometimes feel so locked in in almost like a style or character or whatever you've created or whatever you do for streaming, that you have to remember that you're doing this also for your enjoyment. So I think that's fantastic advice. That is fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Rose. For those who don't know, Rose is having, as she mentioned, a 2.0 debut coming up. We don't have an exact date yet, though, right, Rose?
But we're
Nothing-
waiting.
No, I don't have everything yet. It's looking like late March right now.
Okay.
I'm unsure if it's gonna be delayed at all, but
Well-
it's gonna be more late March.
I mean, if you guys want to keep up when her 2.0 debut comes up, you can definitely follow her because you have Twitter as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to be more active on Twitter too. You can't just be on Twitch.
No, you have to branch out for sure. But yeah, check her out on Twitter and on Twitch. We'll have the links posted below if you guys want to check that out. And again, thank you, Rose, for coming to hang out and be the first person we interview.
Thank
I
you. It was
really
really
appreciate
nice.
it.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming to our little podcast.
It was really nice. Thank you so much for having me. Seriously.
Of course. And
Hopefully we can get you back when you're all 2.0.
yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
I would feel honored. It would mean a lot.
See the new model. Oh, I'm
See the
excited
new
to see it.
model?
I can't wait.
You know what? Here. Ending off as a treat. You guys can see it.
Oh, maybe not, because we have this recording that goes up.
Yeah.
This recording goes
okay.
up. Don't do it.
After we're done.
You guys
After we're done.
Shh, you didn't hear anything. Shh, don't worry.
Nope.
Nothing happened. You didn't hear nothing.
Nothing happened.
Anyway.
We're hear anything. Nope.
But yeah,
Secret being exchanged here? No.
what happened? Nothing.
Nothing happened.
Again, thank you so much. For anyone here as well, as we mentioned, we're doing a Q&A coming up in one of the episodes. If you have any questions you want us to answer, or even like just any type of question, it doesn't have to be VTuber or stream related. It can be pretty much anything. As long as it's appropriate, feel free to either you can message on the YouTube channel, or you can also message on our Discord. We have a public Discord, but feel free to do that. And also, if you have anyone else you want us to interview, you think it would be a great idea, just give us some suggestions. We're more than happy to reach out and talk to other streamers and creators. This is a great space for this, and yeah, we love VTubing and we love streaming, so we like to hear from other streamers as well. So
Yes.
yeah.
Give us more options.
Yes, please. Help us.
Help us.
But yeah, thank you
Recommend your
so-
favorite streamers to come on here. These guys are really sweet. Absolute delight. I assure you they'll be treated well. It was fantastic. You guys have been really awesome. I haven't had a moment where I was like, I had any questions about what was going on. I know you guys were really nervous, but you're doing a fantastic job, and I enjoyed being here. I'm sure everyone else who comes on is going to enjoy it too. You had some really great questions, and I had a lot of fun thinking about what I wanted to say and answering. I feel like it's a good
get disconnected?
podcast.
Oh,
A little bit.
I might have gotten disconnected. Sorry.
All good. Happens.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be our wrap for tonight. Thank you again, Rose, and thank you everyone for coming to watch. Like I said, check us out. Feel free to follow us on the Discord. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Check out Nyan Archives. Check out Rosette Bloodthorn VT on Twitch or on Twitter. I am KaiyaBell. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter.
And I'm Catershime. You can also find me on Twitch and Twitter. Ugh,
Sorry, X.
What is
My
that?
bad.
X, yeah.
Nobody calls.
Have a great
Oh, no.
night, guys. Thank you,
Sorry.
everyone.
I almost got
We're-
My internet has been really bad. I have like the most terrible internet. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Nothing without a little bit of scuff, right? But
Right.
Thanks,
it got
everyone.
like super in the red. Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good one.
guys, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.